When imagining a battle of subterfuge, mental warfare, and covert operations, few matchups are as intriguing as Invisible Woman versus Martian Manhunter. Both characters are renowned within their respective universes for their exceptional powers in stealth and telepathy. But who really has the edge when the mission calls for ultimate discretion in mind games? To answer this, we need to break down what each competitor truly brings to the table, assess their abilities in detail, and consider the scenarios in which one might dominate the other. Let's start with Susan Storm, Richard's better, known as the Invisible Woman, within the Marvel Universe. Her power set is both straightforward and yet deeply versatile. She can render herself as well as others invisible, manipulate visible light, and project force fields of incredible strength and precision. When it comes to stealth, Susan's abilities are about as direct as it gets. She literally vanishes from sight, eluding surveillance, targeting systems, and the naked eye with ease. But her power doesn't end at mere invisibility. She can muffle sound waves, block heat signatures, and creatively shape her force fields to shield herself from a wide variety of sensors. Stealth, in the world of superheroics, often means avoiding not only physical detection, but also mental detection. And that's where the conversation gets interesting. Invisible Woman is not, by default, a telepath. However, her force fields have occasionally been depicted as offering some degree of psychic protection, deflecting psionic attacks or creating barriers even telepaths struggle to penetrate. This is not her primary function, but in certain storylines. Writers have highlighted Susan's intelligence, adaptability, and tactical acumen as allowing her to outthink powerful adversaries, even ones with mental powers. Cross the intercompany boundary, and you meet Jayons, the Martian Manhunter. He is the Justice League's Swiss Army knife, shapeshifter, density manipulator, strength rivaling Superman, and most relevantly, a telepath of the highest order. Jayon's psychic abilities are extraordinary. He can scan entire cities for surface thoughts, erase and alter memories, communicate silently, and launch mental assaults strong enough to subdue some of the DC Universe's toughest minds. When it comes to telepathy, Martian Manhunter isn't just a master, he's a gold standard. But Jayon's power doesn't stop at the mind. His Martian biology grants him shapeshifting and the ability to become intangible or phase through solid matter. Want to hide? He can transform into nearly anything, including air or objects, blending in seamlessly. He can render himself completely invisible, not by bending light, but by becoming physically undetectable. Combined with intangibility, this makes Martian Manhunter arguably one of the most difficult individuals to detect or contain, whether by technology, supersenses, or even mystical means. So, who dominates in stealth and telepathy? Pure telepathic power? Martian Manhunter has the undeniable advantage, is leagues beyond the Invisible Woman in terms of both offensive and defensive psychic capabilities. Even the strongest Marvel telepaths would struggle in a head-to-head side duel with Jayon, let alone a non-telepath like Susan. Unless she has outside help, special technology, or an unusual application of her force fields, she is unlikely to resist a focused probe or assault from the Martian. But stealth is more nuanced. On the surface, Susan's invisibility seems more specialized and refined. She has spent her entire superheroic career operating from concealment, outsmarting foes who can sense on many wavelengths, and using her force fields for both defense and offense. Her discipline and training make her a master infiltrator, is able to slip through tight security or evade detection by some of the world's best. Jayon, meanwhile, relies on a different kind of stealth. Rather than disappearing outright, he becomes what the world expects to see. He can bypass retinal scanners, mimic voices, and phase through walls. His telepathy augments this. He can sense the presence of others, predict movements, and erase traces of his own passing. In some ways, it's a more complete stealth, but also one that relies on a broader array of powers. In a head-to-head scenario, where both know the other is present and are actively hunting or evading, Martian Manhunter's psychic awareness would likely be a deciding factor. He could sense minds, anticipate actions, and bypass most physical concealments. Invisible Woman, however, might leverage her creativity, using her force fields to block mental probes, set up decoys, or shield her team. On rare occasions, Her tactical mind has allowed her to outmaneuver even superior powers. Ultimately, if you frame the question as who dominates in both stealth and telepathy, Martian Manhunter sits at the top as mind, reading, and mental manipulation. Simply eclipse what Susan Storm can offer in the psychic realm. But if the mission is all about remaining hidden from every kind of foe and technology, Susan's mastery of invisibility and force might allow her to slip through the cracks, especially if she knows what she's up against. In the end, it's context that determines the victor. For pure telepathy, Martian Manhunter reigns supreme. For physical stealth, Invisible Woman's specialized toolkit is almost unmatched. Put them together in a shadowy contest of infiltration and mental chess, and you may discover that, in this matchup, even the most dominant powers have to stay on their toes.